His family was killed during the war, she says. Even he was killed. So many here are grieving and exhausted. Late tonight, Israel attacked eastern Rafah, where they told people to leave. Celebration had turned to fear, and the hope that tomorrow might bring peace. Fergal Keane, BBC News, Jerusalem.
Let's get some analysis now from Mohamed Taha, who's from BBC Arabic and joins me here in the studio. Mohamed, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
This time yesterday, the warning went out to people in Rafah to leave the area. We have been poised to expect a full-scale invasion of Rafah for several weeks now. Do you think that's likely to happen regardless of any ceasefire deal? Because it's something that Benjamin Netanyahu even said when Israel's last ceasefire deal was on the table.
It did start at Tadhg, so we see now that the Israeli troops are advancing, unfortunately, towards Rafah. There are civilians that are asked to evacuate eastern Rafah and to go to Khan Yunis. Khan Yunis is not safe. Khan Yunis, there is fighting there. There are fighters of Hamas in Khan Yunis. The other places are not safe as well. This operation started overnight. There were shelling over Rafah, eastern Rafah, and that caused more than 50 people died. And I cannot find more expression than what Fergal Keane said. People are exhausted, people are grieving, people are terrified, and the only hospital in the area, Yusuf al-Najjar Hospital, became out of service, and they cannot accept any more injuries.
Is there any glimmer of hope in Hamas at least accepting this ceasefire deal put on the table by the mediators, and the fact that Israel has sent its own negotiators to talk about it further?
All the eyes now is targeted to Cairo, where the Israelis are sending a delegation today. The Americans are there, the Qataris are there, the Egyptians are there. For them to discuss that acceptance of Hamas to that proposal. What happened is that we were waiting Hamas response to an Israeli earlier proposal, and what happened is that the head of CIA with the Egyptian put a counter proposal which was accepted by Hamas, and that proposal basically was saying that the three periods of ceasefire. During the second time of ceasefire, there should be a total withdrawal from the Israeli troops and a discussion for permanent ceasefire. And the surprising move that Hamas accepted to be disarmed, and their leaders would be moved from Gaza to Jordan, where we see today a meeting between the King of Jordan and President Biden. So there is a wide range of ideas of reaching a permanent ceasefire, and the hope that good news coming from Cairo today.
Indeed, something we do all hope for. President Biden is also due to speak to Benjamin Netanyahu by phone. One can only imagine that on that call, he's going to urge him to find some way of making peace.
Yes, of course. I think President Biden will call Netanyahu and tell him, come on, Bibi, you have to find a way to accept this ceasefire. We got to bring the hostages back home. There is an election coming in the US, and we want to end up this headache. Can you see the situation in the American universities is going to be escalated a lot? We have to serve the Israeli security interest and not your own personal interest in staying in power. He will tell him all of these stories to urge him to accept the ceasefire.
Okay, Mohamed Taha from BBC Arabic, thank you for joining us with that analysis. In other news today,